Every minute that goes by is another minute closer to Iowa's 5:10 p.m. Central Time kick for the 2025 season, where the Hawks will open with the Albany Great Danes. As we approach kickoff, we're continuing to preview this 2025 team. If you missed my show with Coach John Patterson released last night, be sure you check it out. I'll throw it up here in the corner. About an hour-long preview where we run through the three major units, plus we look at the schedule in sections. Again, myself, Coach John Patterson, week 253 of our podcast right here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Before we get to the content for today, I want to give a big thank you to two different groups of people. First of all, the folks down at Iowa Floor Covering in Bondurant. If you have a flooring project on your hands or a bathroom remodel, IFC can help you out. Give them a call, 515-379-7000. That's 515-379-7000, or maybe you're buying a new home and you could use some flooring advice. You can also visit IFC online, iowafloorcovering.com. And I've told you about this awesome book, Maya the Malamute, A Spark of Courage. This courageous dog, formerly a puppy, battled through multiple life-threatening situations and is now inspiring young kids at the Stead Family Children's Hospital to do the same. Maya visits the young children in the Children's Hospital every single month, and you can support the foundation, the Maya's Spark of Courage Foundation, by buying one of these books. Visit mayathemalamute.com. You can also donate to the foundation if you don't want a copy of the book, but it's a great gift. It's a great thing to put on the shelf, on the mantle, whatever the case may be, and you can support the show, support a great cause, support our sponsors, all these great reasons to purchase your copy of Maya the Malamute, A Spark of Courage. So we're talking about Iowa football's most indispensable players in 2025. Now, I want to preface this conversation, this dialogue, by defining indispensable. What does that word mean? A simple Google search will tell you. Oxford Dictionary says that indispensable means absolutely necessary. So, essential, crucial, key. Yes, Iowa has a number of players that are going to be NFL players someday. This is not scouting out guys and talking about their potential to be all Big Ten or All-American or a high draft pick, right? We're not ranking the best players on the team. We're talking about the most indispensable, the guys you can least afford to lose to injury or other circumstances, right? So part of this is depth or lack thereof. Part of it is how crucial a player is to what I was trying to accomplish schematically. You'll get the point as we run through these players. So let's start with number 5, and we're going to go 5 through 1. And then I'll give you some honorable mentions. This is totally subjective, so feel free to tell me what you think about my rankings, and you can share your rankings in the comment section. We'll start with number 5, and this is a guy who's been on this list in past seasons. I typically put out a list before the season starts. It's kicker Drew Stevens. Of course, Iowa has been okay behind their starter, Drew Stevens, but he's stayed healthy throughout his career, and when he's been the starter, he's been really good. Now, there was that brief hiccup a couple of years ago where Drew struggled against Nebraska. Some of that, I think, was the entire kick unit, the blocking, the holding, etc., but in general, he's been phenomenal. He's got a chance to win the national award for kickers at the Lou Groza Award. Caden Boer has been good during camp, but there's no replacing somebody to Drew Stevens' ability. And of course, Iowa's relied heavily on special team success over the last 10 years. And just because I think this offense will be better under Tim Lester does not mean Drew Stevens is any less important. They'll still need a lot of field goals. I wouldn't be surprised if Iowa plays in a lot of close games again this year. So they're going to need him in those situations. And Caden Boer just does not have the Drew Stevens leg. Number 4, here's a guy who's not played a ton as a starter, but was a Big Ten representative, Big Ten Media Day representative of Iowa. That's Cohen Entringer, safety. He's in actually 3 different spots on the depth chart: strong safety, cash, and free safety. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see him play a little cash at different times during the game on Saturday, but expect him to start at strong safety. But the fact that he's listed several different places gives you an indication of a couple of different things. A, his versatility. B, what the coaching staff thinks of him. And C, just the lack of depth at safety. So Cohen Entringer's got to stay healthy. He is my 4th most indispensable player on this year's team. Number 3, another guy we haven't seen a lot from, that's Jaden Harrell. Who's behind Jaden Harrell? That's really the bottom line here. I mean, Seth Wallace has been very complimentary of both Carson Shire and Jaden Harrell. But if Carson Shire were to go down, I could see Jackson Rexroth being able to fill in admirably for him. And maybe Jaden Montgomery could do the same. Maybe Nolan DeLong could do the same for a guy like Harrell. But we've seen more from Rexroth. Middle linebacker is undoubtedly the most important linebacker spot on the field. So Jaden Harrell is my third most indispensable player on this roster. Number 2, center Logan Jones. There are only 2 players that touch the ball on every offensive snap. Assuming that you have a quarterback out there, you're not running some weird wildcat system. It's, of course, the center and the quarterback. So you could probably guess where I'm going with my top 2. But number 2 is Logan Jones. Here's a guy who's going to be a high draft pick. He's all Big Ten, right? He's got a chance to be an All-American this year. And I don't know who's behind him. Is it Cale Winter? I think Michael Myslinski would probably be the guy at this point. Michael struggled with injuries. Knock on wood, he's been healthy this year, and hopefully he can play some good football for Iowa. He's a guy who may have to be available not just at center, but also at one of the guard spots. But Logan Jones, to me, this was not hard. He is my second most indispensable player, which means my most indispensable player is still the quarterback. Yes, the room is better. I have more faith in Hank Brown than I had in past backups. I even have more faith in Jeremy Hecklinski and Jimmy Sullivan and Jackson Stratton than I've had in a bunch of other backups that Iowa's had under the previous offensive regime. But Mark Gronowski is still a national champion. He was still the best quarterback at the FCS level in past seasons. There's a reason why all the talk in the offseason has been about Mark. Iowa gets him for 1 year. He's back healthy now. His health is of utmost importance, even though that room as a whole is stronger. So there's my top 5. 5 is Drew Stevens. 4 is Cohen Entringer. 3 is Jaden Harrell. 2 is Logan Jones. 1 is Mark Gronowski. How about a few honorable mentions? Reese Dakin, the punter. Sounds like Ty Nissen has had a really good offseason, but he does not have the leg of a Reese Dakin, and Dakin's heading into his sophomore year at Iowa. Speaking of lack of depth at safety, Xavier Wampa is poised to have a breakout season in his final year with the Hawks. I do think if he were to go down, it sounds like it would probably be Cohen that worked over, and then Lutmer would slide up. Cohen's just going to have to be this jack of all trades for Iowa. But still, Xavier Wampa's health, all those safeties, got to stay healthy. Zach Lutmer's on my list as well. He's another honorable mention because they just don't have depth. And we've not seen a ton of good football live game action from Zach Lutmer during his time at Iowa, but he's one of the few options they have for those 3 spots: safety at strong safety, free safety, and then at cash. And my final 2 honorable mentions, a couple of guys up front on that offensive line: Jennings Dunker at right tackle, Bo Stevens at left guard. Yes, there's guys I think Iowa's probably comfortable playing, but those top 3 in general on the offensive line: Stevens, Logan Jones, Dunker, all really important. If Dunker went down, it'd probably be Doetzler based on the depth chart. It would be Doetzler that slides over to right tackle, Lauk at left tackle. And it does sound like Doetzler's going to get his shot at left anyways. So maybe there's not real concern about who they'd go to, but the drop off from Dunker to Doetzler, I would have to think is significant. Dunker to Doetzler, that kind of sounds funny. Stevens, of course, too, is a seasoned guy. And hey, Cade Pieper could be in the mix as well, because they just don't have a ton of proven depth behind the top 3. And you could even say the top 4 if you include Cade Pieper, who's just a sophomore. Folks, we're going to continue to talk about this team as we approach Saturday. Keep it locked right here, folks. More player interviews from Iowa Media Day earlier this month. We'll continue to release those as we lead up to game day. And, of course, after the game Saturday, after Iowa-Albany, it's myself and Coach Don Patterson, Iowa postgame right here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the like button, folks. We will talk to you soon.